1.4, order of operations. Okay, so the goal here is to simplify expressions using the order of operations. So the order of operations has a nice little acronym, and it's called BEDMAS. And I'm going to write here what BEDMAS stands for. BEDMAS stands for the order in which we conduct our operations. Okay, so we first work on B, which is the brackets. Then we do the exponents. Then we do any division. Then we do any multiplication. And then finally addition and subtraction. So this is the order in which we do our operations when we're evaluating expressions. Okay, so let's move on to this next part and let's read this together here. So note, please remember that division and multiplication and addition, subtraction are always performed in the order that they appear. This means that sometimes multiplication is done before division and subtraction done before addition. Okay, and a very important note is that if a question involves a fraction, you must immediately put brackets on the numerator and denominator. The division will be performed last. Okay, so let's go through some examples here. So 3 minus 4 plus 2 times 3. So simply, you just have to do BEDMAS. Do the multiplication first. So here I'm going to write 3 minus 4. I'm not going to touch that. Do the multiplication first. 2 times 3 is 6, so plus 6. And so when I do, now I do a subtraction and addition in the order that they appear. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1, plus 6 is positive 5. Okay. Part B. A little bit of a note here. This should be a division sign, so I'm going to correct that later on. So here we have 3 times negative 2, which is minus 6. And then here I'm going to have a division by negative 2 times negative 7. That should say negative 2. And I'm going to do so double negatives here, make a positive 4. Okay. And so then what do you do next? Well, you do the operations in the order that they appear. So it's negative 6 divided by negative 2 is positive 3 multiplied by negative 7. And then you add 4. So then multiplication next. So negative 21. So 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. And then plus 4. And then my final answer here is negative 17. Okay. Next one. Oh, you see a fraction? Put some brackets around it. Okay. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. 3 plus 1 is 4. And then I divide negative 20 divided by 4, which is negative 5. Okay. And so the next one, here I have 3 minus negative 6 times 2 plus 5 times 1 minus 2. So look for the multiplications first. So here I have negative 6 times 2, which is negative 12. And then, oh yeah, don't forget, bracket should have been done first. So on this side here, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So I have 5 times negative 1. And let's go on to the next line. Let's get rid of the brackets then. So minus minus 12 become plus 12. So the same sign becomes 2 of the same sign makes it a positive. And then 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. So plus negative 5 would be minus 5. Okay. And then 3 plus 12 in the order that they appear, plus and minus. So 3 plus 12 is 15, minus 5, and then the final answer is 10. Okay. See the next one here. 1 over 3 minus 2 over 5 plus 3 over 4. So let's take care of the brackets first. So let's leave the 1 over 3 alone. And then let's do the brackets. Let's find the common denominator. So 5 and 4 will have a common denominator of 20. And so if I multiply this one by 4 and I multiply this one by 5, I'll get my numerators. So here I have 8, here I have 15, and I'm adding the two fractions together. Okay, and then after I add the fractions, so 1 over 3 minus 15 plus 8 is 23 over 20. Okay. Then I subtract. Well, I have to find another common denominator. So this common denominator this time will be 60 and 60. So the 1 over 3 becomes 20 over 60. And the 23 over 20 becomes 69 over 60. So I'm multiplying the first fraction by 20 on the top and the bottom, and then multiplying the second fraction by 3 on the top and the bottom. Okay, and don't forget I'm subtracting the two fractions. That's 20 minus 69. So I'm going to write it up here. So equals negative 49 over 60. All right, next one. So 2 over 7 minus 7 over 5 divided by 1 over 3. We can't divide fractions unless we convert to multiplication. So what I'm going to do is change the division to a multiplication and flip the 1 over 3 to 3 over 1. Okay? Vedmass means I have to do the multiplication first. So leave the 2 over 7 alone. And then I do 7 times 3, which is 21. 5 times 1, which is 5. And don't forget your minus sign is still there. Okay. Now I have two fractions being subtracted. Find a common denominator. 7 times 5 is 35. And 35. So multiply the 2 by 5 to get my new numerator. So 2 times 5 is 10. And multiply the 21 by 7 to get your new numerator, which is 147. Subtract. Okay. And then 10 minus 147 is negative 137 over 35. Okay. So if you still need me to review how I'm doing these improper fractions, consider that I'm just multiplying the top and the bottom of this one by 7. And I'm multiplying the top and bottom of this one by 5 in order to get that same denominator. Okay. All right. Save that. And I'm going to move on to the next question. So down here in the next page, what went wrong? Order of operations. So, oh no, in each of the following solutions, critical errors have been made. Explain what errors are on the left side and complete the correct solution on the right side. Okay, so I want you to look for the errors. Take a couple minutes, pause the video, look for the errors. Okay. Now you may have noticed here in the first one that there should have been a multiplication here first. Okay, so they added 1 plus 3 before they multiplied 3 times 5. So the correct solution would be to say 9 minus 2, and then you leave the 1 as it is, and you do 3 times 15, which is 3 times 5, which is 15. So 1 plus 15. Okay, and then you have to finish your bracket. So you do 9 minus 2 times 16, and then you do your multiplication. So 9 minus 2 times 16, which is 32, and then do your subtraction. So 9 minus 32 is negative 23. Okay, so the explanation should be that they should multiply first. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Again, pause the video, have a look at this wrong solution, and see where they went wrong. Okay, now that you had a chance to look at the solution, let's look at what they did wrong. So the first thing is the 16. Okay, so what is negative 4 squared? Well, when you look at negative 4 squared, you have to only square the 4. Okay, not negative 4. And the reason why is because there are no brackets. Okay, since there are no brackets. So you look at that negative 4 squared, there's no brackets around negative 4. So the squared, this guy over here, it only operates on the number it is attached to. Okay, it's only operating on the 4. So it has to be, you treat it like this. So you have to treat it like it was negative 4 was in brackets squared. Okay. The only time you do all of negative 4 squared is if you have something like this, negative 4 squared. That's when you do negative 4 times negative 4 and you get positive 16. But if it's negative times 4 squared, then you're going to have just one negative and you're supposed to get an answer of negative 16. Okay. The other mistake, you might notice this too, is from the 18. Okay. they forgot another negative sign there. So let's just look at the math for that for a minute. So here we have 1 minus negative 6 times 3. And when you do that math, it's supposed to be 1 minus negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. So they forgot a negative. So let's write here that they forgot a negative. All right, and if we make that correction, let's make that correction now. So let's go to the correct solution. So I'm going to say here negative 16 plus negative 10. Okay, close the square bracket. Let's put the square brackets in there. Divided by another square bracket. I'm using a square brackets. So the math we use square brackets just so we don't confuse ourselves with the round brackets. So round brackets are the ones that come first in the inside, and square brackets go around the whole thing. Okay, and then we do 1 minus negative 18 and close the square bracket. All right, simplify what's inside here. So negative 16 plus negative 10 becomes negative 16 minus 10. So plus minus, opposite signs become minus. And then we divide by 1 minus negative 18. So the same signs become plus. So 1 plus 18. Okay. And so I got rid of the round brackets. I'm making the square brackets into round brackets now. So it says I don't need square brackets anymore. Okay, negative 16 minus 10 is negative 26. Divide that by 1 plus 18, which is 19. Then you get your answer. You can write it as a fraction. Negative 26 over 19. Okay. Next one. So pause the video for a moment. Have a look at question number 3. See if you can spot the mistakes. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to look for the mistakes. There are 3 in this one. Okay, the first one are these exponents here. So this student has to do the brackets before squaring. Okay, so let's just say this is number 1. Number 1, do brackets before the exponents. Okay, so what's that going to look like? Here on the side, it's going to be, you have to do 2 plus 3. And if you notice, to the double negative, the same sign makes it a positive, so plus 1. And then all in brackets, then you do the square after. Okay, and then if I do the rest of the line, so minus 1, and then here, so 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So minus minus. So you have a minus 8. I'm going to fix that too as well on the next line. But let's look for other mistakes first. Okay. So the other mistake comes from here, number 2. They forgot a negative. Notice there's a negative 4, negative 2, but they only have one negative here. So here, number 2, they forgot a negative. Okay, and so here 15 is the last mistake. 4 plus 9 is equal to 13, not 15. Okay, so simple addition mistake. So what's the actual solution? So let's go here back to our correct solution and try and figure this out. So 2 plus 3 plus 1, that gives me 6. I'm going to square that. And then I have minus 1, and double negatives make plus 8. Okay. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. And then I have minus 1. Then I have plus 8. And when I subtract and add these numbers, I should get an answer of 43. Check this on your calculator. Okay, one question left to go. Question number 4. Have a look, take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can spot the errors. There's only 2 this time. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to spot the errors. Here they are. This one is right here. So here they had to do the exponent first. If you look carefully, they divided 8 divided by 2 before doing the exponent. Okay, and here you can't cancel. Why? Because the top has an invisible bracket. You have to put those in brackets if you're dividing fractions. Okay? All right. So let's look at the correct solutions. The correct solution would be equals -2 minus 8 divided by 2 squared, which is 4. The bottom is going to be -25 plus 9. Okay, so keep in mind again, this one has brackets, so -3 squared is going to give you -3 times -3, so two negatives make a positive. And this one here has no brackets, so you do 5 squared, which is 25, and then you put the negative in front of the 25. Okay? Now it's okay to have the negative here in the bottom, right, until we simplify it. Okay, then we'll fix the negative at the final answer. Okay? So then we do the top. So what division comes first? So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I have -2 minus 2. And on the bottom, you have -25 plus 9, which is -16. And then we do -2 minus 2, which is -4. And then over -16. And you notice we have two negatives being divided, so they cancel to make a positive. And if I reduce it in lowest terms, if I divide the top and bottom by 4, I will get 1 over 4 as my answer. Okay, and there you go. There's our review of BEDMAS.